All right, welcome to our week 4 feature matches Cons of Tarkir League. We had a bit of a last minute switch up here, so instead of playing in the feature match, I got Dan A. Beatdownbringer commentating with me since we had a little mix up at the time. And instead of
So
commentating, or prudent, Rafael is going to be playing in the feature match against Chris R. Sinkwater. So we see a pretty lousy hand here for Rafael. What's Chris looking at?
that's good news for Chris because he's got a pretty crummy hand as well. I see three actual green spells, two white removal spells, and a swamp and a plains. So he can remove stuff. He just can't really develop anything.
Yeah, not a great strategy, but Rafael had a one lander, so that got sent back, and he's got a two lander here with a little bit of potential, I would say.
It always feels so awkward keeping a two-land hand in this format. I feel.
I mean, look, I played this format a lot in the past, and it's I think it's even exacerbated in this 60 card sealed format. Like, I feel like if I'm not hitting land 5 on time, it's like a death knell almost.
I agree. I agree completely. I'm always spending all my mana like every turn, and when I don't have it, it's just I lose the game.
Yeah, like I'm playing like a morph deck, so or heavy on morphs, so it's just give me six, give me land 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me treasure cruise and flip up my morph in the same turn later. Like, all the good
To be
stuff.
fair, your deck is ridiculous with Trail of Mystery. Okay, so we are having that problem. We're not hitting any lands,
Oh no.
which means we can't even cast these white removal spells. This is an unfortunate keep for Chris right now.
All right. Well, we're gonna see a little birdie that's gonna start being able to attack here past the hate blade, and Raphael has some okay stuff in hand. He has Grim Haruspex, which he's just gonna cast face up this turn. He has Bitter Revelation, Throttle, Rite of the Serpent, the 6 mana removal, Krumar Bondkin, the 5/3 morph, and the Smite the Monstrous that is visible from the being revealed.
Fuel for days. Unfortunately, Chris, we have not hit our third land yet. Picked up a bitter revelation that turn. Not much help.
Yeah, he didn't mulligan, right? He just kept the two-lander.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, you just kept the
I,
two-lander.
I think especially in League, maybe with some draft decks you could. I think in League I'm just never keeping a two-lander, almost
Oh, and
ever.
insult to injury. Here's a tap land.
But again, it depends on the texture of the decks. Like, if he's a bit more low to the ground, I could see it. But for
Not
most
from
most decks,
the
can't
five
keep
and
two.
seven drop in his hand. I don't think so.
Yeah, like I've said this before in the future matches, like in 2024 limited Magic, your two landers can still win the game easily because you just have a bunch of high quality 2 mana plays, right? Like you can
Yeah.
keep a two lander in Lost Caverns of Ixalan draft and
Oh,
not
for
be and not
sure.
be punished, and you could just maybe not hit your third land until turn 5 or 6 and be completely fine because you just have a bunch of good two drops, but not
Yeah,
as
I mean, you
much
can have
in.
a deck of two drops. Not so much in cons.
Interestingly, he decided to put the dead drop in the graveyard with the Bitter Revelation. But he did get a Feat of Resistance and a High Sentinels of Arishin in hand. So 2 good cards. Again, he's still just on 4 lands. I mean, obviously better than Chris's situation, but he's only been able to do one thing a turn.
Chris is looking to scrap his way back into this game. He's elected to develop the 2-1 rather than just hold back for these kill shots. He is also choked on green mana considering the morphs in his hand. Wooly Loxodon and Pinewalker. Um, I mean, I guess they transform for the same amount that they could cast for. But yeah, he's going to be choked on green mana.
Yeah, but he's done a more than reasonable job of not falling too far behind just by Raphael not doing all that much more. I mean, he does have the flyer now, and now this other pretty scary card coming down, which if he tries to kill shot it, the feat of resistance in Raphael's hand is gonna cancel those plans pretty quick. So
Even in a world without kill shot, I find these spots to be really awkward because if the opponent has a read on you, you've got three mana open. They can just elect not to attack, develop the board, and
yeah, that works too.
punish you for not doing anything.
Yeah, and I mean he's forced to use the kill shot, and he's forced to get blown out.
Oh man.
And now we got a real serious clock, and Sorin is in hand now for Raphael, so that
Oh
could come
gosh.
down and pump everything, um, and more or less in this game.
Yeah, no other option than to hold back and for this kill shot.
Yeah, well, the second kill shot will land.
If at first you don't succeed.
Kill shot again.
Exactly.
But it's not even a great exchange for Chris because Rafael gets a card
No.
here because of this Grim Haruspex.
He's going to be very unhappy in a couple of seconds.
And
Yep.
here comes a Planeswalker card. Yeah, so his other option to affect the board was an Alabaster Kieran. Obviously, this is a little better.
There's one heck of a. I think that's Matt Mercer, probably, that voice actor.
Oh, I always have the sounds toned down here for the videos,
It's
but
very edgy. So another option, we picked up something that might help regain some tempo in Become Immense. Um,
okay.
so he can double spell at this point. The question is, which of these big boys does he play? He has the option of Absent Guide. Uh, he could hard cast Pine Walker, or he could morph the Woolly Loxodon and maybe hold up Become Immense.
It probably has to be the Abzan guide to gain life here because he's under siege from the Flyers.
He agrees with you. It looks like
It's got to
he's
be,
going to
yeah.
morph this right now.
I mean, there's no choice. Like he sees he's dead in 2 turns with the Sorin plus
Yeah.
one pumping everything. I believe that everything gets pumped plus one plus zero.
I actually don't remember what his activated does at all.
Well, the minuses make a 2/2 flyer, and the plus one the plus is I believe all your creatures get plus one lifelink until your next turn, so it can be used offensively or defensively. Yep, until your next turn. Yeah, plus one and lifelink just puts almost any race out of proportion by a lot. Um, so yeah, he's deciding what to do here. He sees he has clean attacks, unless unless Chris has a morph he can flip up for 0 mana, which they do exist, but without priority. He's just going to sail on through, and he's going to play another flyer here.
Goes straight to one. Yeah.
He could also just leave up his throttle, but let's see. Okay, he's just going to throttle this morph just in case, and it was actually very wise to do so.
Yeah, giving Chris no opportunity to get his way back into the game. I've seen a lot of comebacks in this format, but with this life linker down, it's going to be very difficult to get any traction
Yeah,
here.
nice call to just throttle it there. I mean, in reality, you could have waited till it got flipped up and just ate up 5 of Chris's mana, but yeah, the mana problems early were a little bit too much to come back from, and then Rafael started dropping some bombs. And
Have
for
we been
some,
experiencing this bug often? The black screen for sideboards?
so I think Thursday they had a about a 6 gig update, and ever since then it's just been like that.
Absolutely infuriating.
Rafael is searching his sideboard for lightning bolts and not finding any. He typed it in the search and it came up empty, and he decided, well, if I can't put in lightning bolt, I ain't sideboarding.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, so it
I just
looks
want to
like
point out
he, yeah.
just a little like a cute thing that Prudent did that round to end the game. Like Chris was looking to swing just to get the 2 life, and even though it looks like a weird thing to like let the Planeswalker die, Prudent recognizes that it was like his only way in. So I just wanted to give props to him
Yeah,
for not blocking there.
yeah. Soren did what it needed to do, so he doesn't need to give his opponent life and a chance to have another turn. It does appear Raphael's gone the route that does not seem to be the route many people take, which is a very straightforward, basically 2 color deck here, white black. But he's got the rares to support it, so that's always nice.
Considering
What's
the colors of lands in Chris's hands, he's probably something closer to 5 color. He's picked up 3 tap lands in each color. Polluted Delta left. He's got 2 removals or 3 removal spells actually in Kill Shot, Smite the Monstrous, and Crater's Claws. A way to get some card advantage back with Bitter Revelation, and a Rush of Battle to pump up a creatureless hand. Although he did just pick
so
up a Mardu Skull Hunter.
some kind of Abzan base, but with other stuff. It seems. Yeah, sounds about right.
I, based on what I saw last game, I would say that's close. Yeah.
Yeah, where I've liked or what I've seen to be the best or what I've been doing well with is like a base two colors and then splashes of two colors or one color, like for removals or morphs or like really key cards. But like the decks are just playing like straight up three colors, like just two and three drops of all the colors. Just that's a way to just lose sometimes just by your mana not working out. But
The thing is,
yeah,
when you're this many packs in, it's kind of difficult not to want to splash these bombs when you're getting like my last pack. I had three tap lands in it.
yeah. So the auto tapper has betrayed Prudent as he's played his second
Oh,
Grim Haruspex as a morph and is unable
oh, I
to
hate
flip
that.
it up. Um,
So silly.
yeah, so in hand
So we
he
have.
has Einak Bonkin and two Right of the Serpent, which is the six mana removal spell. So
Does he
not
have the
too
lands to back it
much.
up? No.
Well, he just has a Bonkin and two of those rights.
Gotcha. Chris has the choice between making sure he cleans out his land draws. He elects to say no to that and instead picks up another Smite Monstrous and Become Immense,
Okay.
which Bitter Revelation has helped fuel up a little bit.
Yeah, I love Bitter Revelation finding a Delve card because it's three mana off of the Delve card on its own.
Hmm.
It's always nice.
I'm a little puzzled by the choice not to keep lands there. He's got so much action in hand, or at least reaction in hand, that I think he'd want a little more breathing room to be able to,
Yeah, and
you know,
Smite the Monstrous look seems especially poor against this deck, though, with this Bondkind leveling up or outlasting every turn, that, it'll have a target, but just, like, Raphael seems pretty low to the ground. His stuff isn't too big. That might have been something I would be looking to side out even, but
yeah, he is two in hand. It's a hard card to want to run two of for just this very reason.
does he have a raid trigger to,
He
he
does
had, he
have
had the Skull
exactly
Hunter, right?
Skull Hunter,
Yeah, you
so
mentioned
he's
that
at least
before.
going to get Prudent down to one, and hopefully he'll think he has enough removal to beat out whatever he's got left.
Yeah, so last card in hand is a second copy of Right of the Serpent, but nothing really worth killing here.
If Chris elects to spend the rest of his mana crater clawing this morph, he'll be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I mean things are
Ah,
looking pretty good for Chris. Honestly, like he has cards in hand, and I mean Raphael's going to get a nice a little card here, so it's always nice. However, it's a swamp, and all right, Horde Chief off the top is nice. Puts two bodies into play. What a solid
it's a
common.
great solid common. Yeah.
Like 2 3 for three is a broken stat line in this set. Like absolutely busted.
So an interesting decision here. He picked up the White's raid guy that gets something back. I believe it's Timely Horde Mates.
Yeah,
So Chris could elect to just swing out here. He's guaranteed to trade with the 1/1, and if Prudent also wants to elect to block the 2/1, he'll be able to get it back and get another discard off.
yeah. I will say that's a card I haven't really liked too much in this set, but whenever I play it and it's a 4 mana 3/2 with no text that rots in my hand, but whenever my opponent plays it, they do this.
Yeah, this is okay, I guess, but it is awkward when you don't have a target.
Yeah, like the 4 mana for two toughness in a morph format is also what puts me off of it a bit.
Mm.
And a lot of decks either don't have two drops or the two drops are not good. So it's a card that when it comes together it looks nice, but I haven't enjoyed it too much. So Raphael's drawn a kill shot here to go along with another swamp he just drew, and he's just going to get rid of this blood flies now before it gets too out of control.
He said, "I'm not giving that any time on the board. Kill
Yeah,
it
I mean that
immediately."
thing gets real big, and because it had a counter on it, he gets a little snake token.
Hey,
So
with a bunch of one X ones on the other side of the board, that's not too shabby.
yeah, not too bad. Like I I'm surprised that he didn't just attack with his Mardu Horde Chief to try and trade it off for and get a card from the Haruspex.
Yeah, uh,
Like Chris is up on
he's got no reason not
cards
to.
right now, and like Raphael doesn't have too much going on. He has a kill shot and two lands, so all
And
right.
pretty reactive hand here. Again, he's got two smites, one become immense, and then a rush of battle. So it looks like he's just trying to build his board up to maybe get a nice swing in later.
Yeah, there could be a pretty nasty rush of battle turn upcoming here. And the morph that Raphael has is the Watcher of the Roost, the flyer that you could flip up by revealing,
Mm.
which he is going to do right now. Or maybe no, he decided against it.
Chris thinks I've got enough time to outlast here. We're kind of at a standstill, he figures. No reason to morph up on Chris's end step because he can simply do it at instant speed anytime without mana.
Yeah, this Bloodsucker is a card I just always found to be a trap. Um, like 3 mana 2/2 is a terrible baseline for something that doesn't impact the board immediately, and then like all the other text, like 3 mana sack a creature. It is one of the few sack outlets if you can do something with it, but yeah, I always found that to be
Yeah,
very awkward.
not a particularly supported archetype, stealing and sacking.
Like if it was a 2/3, I would like it would just almost be playable
Way better.
just because of that.
The ability to block a morph is huge.
Yeah,
I
two
just
toughness is very bad.
I really love these morph cards that transform with a benefit for free. Although I do think it's pretty awkward in this situation, revealing to Chris a spell that he can, very easily now play around.
Yep, and I also don't love the arena interface that gives you priority for it even when you're tapped out. So your
Oh
opponent can
God.
your opponent can just deduce based on the colors that you're playing which one of those it is.
People express disdain for this set. I think that's a huge element. You lose a great deal of, what made cons so great in paper back in the day.
Yeah, that's one thing I just did not enjoy is like, oh, I have priority. Like it's the reason why, and I mentioned it to a couple people because like we've been doing Cube or talking about Cube. Like I just never draft Pact of Negation in Cube. I refuse because it gives me
Mhm.
priority on turn two. I play my two
Every
drop.
every time, yeah.
I'm tapped out on turn two, and my opponent plays their 2 or 3 drop, and it gives me priority. I'm just like, no, they literally know I have Pact of Negation. I will just never put this in a Cube deck ever. Like
Unless you're
terrible.
willing to full control every single
Nope,
turn from
never,
turn one.
never. Yeah,
And
so flying the flying army is going to get a little scarier now with High Sentinels of Arishan coming down.
hope, thankfully, there's finally a Smite the Monsters target. This card has been collecting dust in Chris's hand for quite some time.
Yeah, I mean Raphael will be able to pick up a card from the Harris specs, but still preferable for Chris to have him have a random card than have to deal with that thing. And he
This
gets a little trigger
Haruspex
here.
is
Look at that.
this Haruspex is doing so much damage to Chris.
He even got a Bloodsucker trigger there.
I don't even know what Bloodsucker does. It gets bigger when it sacks things.
So pay 3 mana, sack something and put a counter. Then it has the other text of whenever a creature you control with toughness 4 or greater dies, you gain 2 and they lose 2.
We finally found an answer for this annoying Haruspex and debilitating injury.
All
Hopefully,
right.
Prudent doesn't have.
Mm, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I guess I mean he could have sacked it to the Bloodsucker, but he has to leave up kill shot because of this life linker.
Ah, that's right. And because Chris knows about it, he says, "I don't think I want to swing into that just yet."
No, I'm gonna. But I mean, it is awkward because he is at 7. He needs to find something to do, either gain life
He's definitely
or
running out of
interact or
choices.
start attacking. But
Yeah.
like attacking into the kill shot obviously is not where he wants to be. Like if that kill shot wasn't revealed, this Abzan Battle Priest would be long gone probably.
So Chris probably figures Prudent has no reason to do anything besides just swing with his 2/1. So I might as well use this now.
Okay, I mean this is going to be a nice life bump here. What 12 life, 20 life? I mean, well the if he attacks with Battle Priest, that's a goner. So, but 12 life is still massive here.
Is there any call to not swing with the priest there?
Maybe. I mean, Rafael probably doesn't use the kill shot. I mean, it's pretty. He has some pretty reasonable blocks here. It's going to clear up the board for sure, and that 2/1 flyer is a lot less scary when you're at 19.
Chris is thinking about using this Become Immense, and he decides, yeah, sure, I'll take the extra 6 life.
Okay,
Although
so
it
Rafael,
yeah,
so Rafael
does
just said
put
no
him down a card.
blocks. Okay. I mean, that's 6 life. Yeah. I mean, good enough, right?
It's quite the swing. It gives him some time.
Yeah, I mean,
It's only really difficult if Prudence, is able to out heal this damage with a Bloodsucker.
but he doesn't have anything with 4 toughness, so yeah. So it can sack anything, but it only the triggered ability only happens if the creature that died has 4 toughness, which describes nothing on this board right now. And now Raphael is very much in range of dying to the parapet there.
You know what? I kind of like this become immense play. Yeah, if he's gonna outrace Prudence, and it's not like Prudence got great swings on the ground, so he'd have to
Yeah,
pick up more pressure to even things out.
if Raphael lined up blocks, it's less tempting, but it's like giving 6 damage to your opponent is pretty nice. Is there a particular reason he's gone to attack with this
I
sort thing?
don't understand the
Okay,
swing, but he elects to make the board less complicated. But I figure Chris just wants to keep the parapet alive.
yeah.
I wouldn't imagine his ground blockers hold much value to him.
Yeah, it looks like until further notice, this parapet is going to decide the game until we see something else going on here.
What's in Prudence's hand right now?
He's got, what is this? It's a plains and this other card also called plains. Hmm.
Chris picks up a
I mean,
Highland
he
Gang.
has 5 plains in play, so it must be a good card if he has 5 in play. So you wouldn't
Remember,
put 5 copies of a bad card into play.
remember, folks, if your opponent has 2 cards in hand and he hasn't played them for 8 turns, they're probably just lands.
Yeah. So yeah, another land off the top here. So really struggling here with the lack of things to do with the mana. Like the whole thing with morph based decks was that even when you get to 10 mana, like you can use all of your mana every turn a lot of the time, or at least most of it. But here is just like his mana is just not of much use. And
Chris may be
this,
sweating a little bit to see this path, this life linker that can maybe stop his plans of slowly tickling Prudent to death.
yeah, I mean, Chris has probably deduced that there's nothing in hand except lands, or maybe some extremely narrow card that there isn't really a place for right now, but I don't know what that would be. Maybe it could be like a Smite the Monstrous or something. Like Chris might think it could be something like that.
I think Chris is just debating whether or not to use the smite on the 4/3. I would think you'd want to hold it in the event that the seeker could become bigger. But
Yeah,
yeah, he does like to hold it.
it's not it's not threatening as much, so he doesn't have too much to be afraid of yet from that.
So this shows how swingy this format is, because by picking up Salty Scavenger on like turn 25, Chris is looking pretty comfortably ahead now.
Yeah, 3/3 flyer, pretty good. So I guess
Always feels
he
bad
he
not
X
picking
out
up.
enough cards to still be able to activate his parapet and cast Bite the Monstrous. I'm guessing that would have had to be it.
Yes, very well. Oh, also I think to activate
Oh,
the Death
okay.
Touch if you wanted.
After many irrelevant draws, here comes Sorin Solemn Visitor. Um,
Ooh,
so this could be something.
yeah. What are the consequences of this? He gives lifelink, doesn't he?
It's going to be lifelink to everything.
That's pretty good.
He can, yeah. I mean,
All of a sudden, and on 1 life too.
if he like just goes to attack all, there's only one of his creatures that just gets eaten. Like the 3/3
Yeah,
scavenger eats one of the tokens.
this
But
is a
other than
nightmare
that,
for Chris.
yeah, he's going to attack with the 2 first strikers for sure.
I see no reason not to attack with a 3/1, right?
Um, I mean,
And
yeah, it's just so much life to be gained. So I assume Smite the Monstrous is going to hit something here. Possibly
what
the
do you
first
think he goes
striker.
for?
Well, if he
The
kills the
first
first
striker,
striker, it
yeah.
also removes first strike from the bloodsucker.
That's very right.
So it's you're removing 9 power of first strike, and you're removing 5 power from the board, and 9 of it is first strike. Yeah, so
He agrees with you. Yeah.
we get a
Elects
big
to. Doesn't he train? No,
we
he
get a
doesn't train.
bigger we get a bigger vampire, which is always nice. So yeah, this game we thought maybe this power pet was gonna ding the last couple points of damage, but here we are with 12. What is it? Was it 18 life gained a couple turns ago for Chris, and now 12 life being gained on the other side. Soren is quite vulnerable though, potentially.
Yeah, I was wondering why Pruden didn't elect to swing with the tokens, but I think it does make sense to hold them back to be able to regain, some value after he stabilizes here.
Yeah, so Chris could definitely block the 4/3, right, with the parapet.
He could absolutely block with a parapet. He decides, I don't want to be blown out by the planes in Pruden's hand, so it looks like he's double trading here.
Planes is powerful, but not powerful enough to affect combat here. All right, so yeah, it's gonna be this game has gone quite back and forth here with the life swings. Crazy amount of life swings. All right, so now looking at the board, Soren takes 3, but it's still at 2, which means you can still plus it or make a vampire and kill off the Soren.
In the event that he pluses it, he's got Chris. He probably won't care about Soren's health at that point because he'll just be racing Chris down too fast.
Did Chris draw anything of consequence here?
And unfortunately, just a forest.
Oh, we got a Raider spoils here, which is
Oh
another
my
board pump.
gosh.
He does have one warrior in play, which is the white token there, which can draw a
Definitely his
card.
interest to at
But
least block that.
yeah, Raider spoils was I always found it weird that it pumped all of your creatures, but then it cared if your warriors hit. I would have just always thought like it just pumps warriors, but it actually pumps everything. So
Chris electing to just be safe here, blocking the non-human. I think
huh.
just an oversight on his
Is that a
part.
yeah that I mean I'm always blocking the warrior
No,
there,
yeah,
but
simply no reason not to block the warrior
yeah, that could
there.
have just been a slight error here.
And with another land, unfortunately, what
Yeah,
was once a winning game has slipped out of Chris's grasp.
yeah. Rafael was at 2 at one point. I believe Chris was at what 6 or something.
25 or something.
Well, no, Chris was at 6 and then up to 20 something, and now
That's
back
right.
down to
That's right.
11. Yeah, the
I'm
Soren
I'm
is
so
just.
confused
But
here. He
is
he has
he?
once again not
Yeah.
blocked the warrior.
Yeah. Well, here's a smite the monstrous off the top, so not a not too exciting of a draw, but looks like this game may be coming to its end here. I mean, double power pet is fun, but I don't know if it's going to get the job done. So in comes a morph, which is actually a warrior underneath. So it's the 5/3. Yeah, so
I'm
plus
wondering
one,
if Chris is thinking, "Hey, I'll not block your warrior because at least you'll take 1 damage."
I guess. Yeah, so just a small note about Soren. Like normally, our we've sort of programmed that unless we have a reason to play our creature before combat, we play it after combat. But if you plus Soren, uh, if you play your creature first, it can block with the pump and the lifelink. Because
Yeah, it's a
if you would
very
have if you would have played the
unusual
creature
effect.
post combat, it would not have got the pump.
I always
So
find those combat or attack changes that last during the opponent's turn to always be sort of strange. Used to everything wearing off at end of turn.
yeah, all right, so we got another pump here, and likely to be an attack all. The morph is a 5/3, which is going to be a 7/3 when its true form is revealed.
Hmm.
And we're getting
Hard not to feel
another
for Chris here.
20 or so life gained. I mean, 17 life. Like, okay. Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't even know if he needs to play this creature here. If Chris could have like a board wipe or something, or at least have a creature behind. But even a board
Yeah.
wipe
The
doesn't
Lord
get.
Wipe's basically it.
Yeah, but even if you board wipe, Soren untaps and makes an attack.
Add
So
insult to injury.
all
Here is
right,
the bitter
well,
revelation.
he is
Thorin takes
going out
Sunflower out.
in his own
Mhm.
bitter graveyard here. So yeah, congratulations to Rafael. Thanks again for stepping in here, and Soren brings in the victory here in the second game. We'll be back a bit later with our con match for the Jeskai tonight.